Welcome to the Booktrovert Babes podcast, where two friends decided to bring our dramatic conversations about books here for your entertainment. I'm Rubik's mom of 5 and a baby reader just entering my book era.
And I'm Taylor, mom of 2 and a well-seasoned book era veteran. Today is going to be so much fun.
I'm afraid.
You should be afraid. No, you shouldn't. They're not bad. So
Mhm.
I basically told Rubik's, hey, let's record tonight. And then that was it. I didn't tell her shit.
She went rogue, guys.
I did go rogue. I figured, our last episode, we had our sweet little date with Miss Tishy, and it was a hefty episode. So I thought we'd just, have a calm, shorter, fun little episode today with a cute little Q&A. So I went on our Instagram, I went on my book Instagram, I asked some friends, and then, I went on Instagram in general, and I pulled some fun bookish Q&A questions from either Instagram or our friends or listeners. And Rubik's has no idea what they are.
Did not find out until right before I pushed the button.
Correct.
Like, I
did tell her that she could add to some of these questions if she'd like, so she can be a participant in questioning. However, I did take quite a few of the slots. I left her a couple. I'm not that mean. I'm not gonna, have all the questions. I'll let you have some. I was aiming for like 20 to 25 and I did 21.
Do you know what's mean? Is telling me before these questions come up that you blocked me from being able to see some of them. That's mean.
I didn't want you to see that I was doing it. I wanted it to be organic and a surprise. So that way these answers are like just what comes to you. You don't need to overthink. You're not going to they're not those kinds of, it's not like when we did our rap. Yeah.
Are any of them about you?
Kind of. They're questions about us.
Well, how come you got to think about your answers?
Well, you'll see as we get to them. They're very easy. They are not like our bookish wrap up that we did where we were like, hold up, I need like a month to think about these.
Right.
These are very easy, can be answered immediately without much thought, maybe some thought in a couple of them, but it's vibes, it's you, it's me, it's us. You'll see.
It's you, it's me, it's us.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Oh, I mean, no, but let's do it anyway, I guess.
The first one's so easy. And it's actually was funny is the first response that I got when I posted on our Instagram of like, ask us anything. Number 1, how did we meet? See, super easy question. Because I don't know if we've ever actually said on the podcast, at least. Most people know, but we've never actually said how we met, I say in quotes. Because technically,
we met on Twitch.
Yes. We've never met in person.
That's true.
But we've been friends for 3 years. So no one ever tell me that like she's not my best friend because we haven't met. Because like, yeah, so we met on Twitch through our bestie Kaylee.
Yes.
I am her mod, or we're now both mods, but I was one of her original mods.
I was going to say though, did we meet in Kale's stream or did we meet in Harley's stream?
Technically Kaylee's, because I was there the day that you first joined.
Okay.
And then I modded for both of them. So really between the two, you had no choice but to be surrounded by me. So I would say the growth of our friendship was we met in Kaylee's stream. That's so Kaylee on Twitch. She rated Harley. You got part of Harley's streams. And I would say the way we started to get closer is Harley did game nights with her streams and we did Among Us.
That's so telling about our friendship though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like right out the gate. How did we get to know each other? By being sus and murdering each other.
Yeah.
And lying and gaslighting each other about it.
But like how fun, because not only did I meet you that way, but like I also met Hubs that way because he would also participate sometimes.
Yeah, he would jump on sometimes.
And then you started streaming and asked me to be your mod, and then it just bloomed from there. So yeah, that's how we met, was on Twitch. So July of 2022 is when we met through Twitch officially, and then a couple of months of building the friendship, joining games and stuff together, and then at some point we were just like, we have so much in common. Best friends?
Why are we not friends?
Yeah.
Did we become best friends?
Yeah, we did. See, you have nothing to be afraid of. That was such an easy question.
Yeah, that's why you put it first.
Yes, it is why I put it first. But I also felt like, one, it was the first one that I got in our little Q&A answering things that people could ask us. But it is, I think, the perfect question to start off because it is extremely about us. Like, how did we meet? So see, not bad.
All right, what's the next one?
So the next is the book that made you a reader. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the first book that like you read.
Mm.
The book that you were like, no, this is it for me. This is my hobby forever. This is half my identity.
Oh, that is hard. That's harder than it should be
For
because
me, I have eras that I've talked about, but I will always credit one book where I was like, no, I'm a reader. Because it was the book that got me when I was 13,
Mhm.
and it's my favorite book. And from that book is how I got into other genres and I just kept reading. So for me, it will always be To Kill a Mockingbird.
Mm.
That's just like I fell in love with that book. I fell in love with the way it made me feel that like I could read something and have such deep emotions while I was reading something. So that will always like stand out to me as like that is the book that made me a reader.
Right. I feel like I have more than one because I have my one from childhood like that,
Mhm.
but then I also have like now.
Mhm.
So, I think as a kid, I'd probably have to go with A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, I loved it so much because I was
Mhm.
so wrapped in like the adventure of
Yeah,
it and the puzzles and things like the riddles that were
that's
in
so
it
track and
and
field.
the humor with Mrs. Whatsit and
Uh-huh.
like I was so into that. And then as an adult, I don't know if it's between Fourth Wing or Black Witch
I had a feeling
because
that's what you were debating between.
it is because I read Fourth Wing because y'all told me to, and I did
Mhm.
enjoy it, and it made me like look for something else to read. But it was Black Witch. That was the first book I picked on my own
Mhm. I knew so
and
I thought that's
read
what
it
you were
on
gonna
my
say.
own. Yeah,
'Cause Fourth Wing, you were like, "Wait, I do enjoy reading," but Black Witch
yeah,
was like, "I you found that. That was your book series that you found on your own, and, like, you love that series."
I
So I had a
do.
feeling it was between the 2. 'Cause yes, Fourth Wing
Yeah.
and, like, Hooked were the 2 first books that we, like, got you to read to get you
Hmm.
back, but I would almost argue Black Witch is what hooked you back.
I
Haha,
think it
using Hooked.
is.
But
And
yeah,
I
I feel like
enjoyed Hooked, but
yeah.
it wasn't like
That was
it
our
was more
throwaway.
like
That was
an
our, like, "See what
assignment.
we're reading." Yeah.
Yeah, it was more like an assignment because you were talking about romance, and I was making all these jokes about my mother's romance book,
Not
and
your
you're
mama's
like, "These
romance.
are not your mother's romance."
They are not.
And it was like an
Had confirmed.
assignment to read it to
Yeah.
see what y'all were reading, and then Mel and you were like, "You have to read Fourth Wing," and I read it, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Okay, wait, this is really enjoyable." And then I found my own, and that was Black Witch, and that was when I was like, "This book made me feel so many things.
All the
Oh my
things.
god."
Mhm.
So yeah, A Wrinkle in Time when I was a child, and then or Peter Pan. I was really sucked into the original Peter Pan story by J.M. Barrie as well, and that was my dad's favorite.
Yeah.
So
There's, like, sentimental attachment with that one for you too.
yeah, but A Wrinkle in Time was the one I found on my own from that era. So A Wrinkle in Time as a child, and then I would say I probably have to say the Black Witch
That's what I thought
now.
you would say.
Yeah,
See, I know you're I feel like we not only could answer this for ourselves, but also for each other because we just know each other that well.
probably. Yeah.
You ready for number 3? Super
No.
easy. It's
Okay.
super easy. What's your Hogwarts house? I feel like people should actually almost be able to guess our Hogwarts houses, but
We have a podcast about books. What house do you think we're in?
here's the thing though. So, the reason I was like, "Wait, I do wanna use this one," because we are both Ravenclaws,
Mhm.
but I feel like our secondary houses are different.
Oh, I never thought about what my secondary house would be.
I think you're a Hufflepuff. I think you're like a Ravenpuff,
A
whereas
Raven.
that's what it's called when you have, like, your main house and then, like, your secondary house, they combine it with, like, the first part of your first house and the last part of your second house, so I'm a Raverin because I'm Ravenclaw and Slytherin. Raverin is a horrible I get it, but
That's awful.
I know. Ravenclaw
Ravenpuff
is
is
my
not
house,
better.
but I do have a lot of Slytherin traits, shocking to anyone listening. I do think that you are Ravenclaw with a touch of Hufflepuff.
Not
Neither one of
Gryffindor?
us are Gryffindors. No.
Oh, I like Gryffindors.
You can like them.
I guess I
That
could see the
doesn't mean you
Hufflepuff, though.
are.
I could see the Hufflepuff.
There's just a lot of traits of Hufflepuff that I see in you a lot.
Like what?
Their kindness, their loyalty. It makes me think of the Harry Potter musical. They're really good finders. You're great at puzzles. Um, but yeah,
It's
if I
true.
had to guess yours, you should take the quiz to see like what your percentages are for each of the houses. Because mine is Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor.
Mm,
I would almost think that yours might be the opposite, where it's Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor. I don't know, because I would say you're
Slytherin.
ambitious.
I don't think I'm that ambitious.
Okay. I am
Like
also a
anything
Capricorn.
ambitious is like if I do something, I want to try it for fun, but I want to do it well. That's like the only ambition. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
don't want to
true.
be like I don't want to be the top of the food chain or anything like that. So there that kind of ambition I don't have.
Mm.
But I love that you said Hufflepuff because my sister just got into Harry Potter recently.
Oh,
And she's watched all the movies now, and it's
mhm.
become her comfort thing to watch, which is crazy to
I
me
love
because
that.
it's so like night and day from
Mhm.
something that she's normally interested in. And she was coming home from, I think, a party, like a Potter pop up party thing.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And I gave her the Hogwarts test while she was driving. I asked her the questions and stuff.
Mhm.
And she got Hufflepuff, and she was so upset.
I justice for
She was
Hufflepuff,
like,
because
"There's
here's the
no
thing.
good Hufflepuffs." I was like, "Yes, they're
Don't
Diggory."
you Cedric Diggory, don't you dare. I feel like Hufflepuffs don't get enough love. So I this is not one of the questions. I used to be pre-mommy days, I was a manager for Hot Topic, and
Mhm.
my number one grievance was it was always Gryffindor and Slytherin merch, and we'd get like 1 or 2 things for Hufflepuff and like 1 or 2 things for Ravenclaw. So I'm a
Yeah, no.
strong believer in justice for Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't maybe it's because 'cause I'm a Ravenclaw, I'm like, "Ugh, Gryffindor is gross." And I know that, like, some of our other besties, Kaylee and Tish, who are Slytherins, are like, "Ew, Gryffindor." But, like,
Follow
Mel's a
the
Hufflepuff.
rules. Ew.
Yeah, ew. Yeah, what the hell's a rule? We don't know those. Yeah, I if I had to guess, I would say yours secondary is probably Hufflepuff. Justice
I
for
like that.
Hufflepuff.
I
They're
like that.
kind,
I'll accept that.
and they're right next to the kitchens, and they puff, puff, puff.
Dude, kitchen is where I'm at all day. That's perfect.
Their dorm is right next to the kitchens.
It's true. My room is right next to my kitchen.
There you go.
It works.
Okay, so this next one, I almost I'm actually going to say who sent this one just because they did a two-part question, and I don't know if she thinks that I'm going to say the second part, but I'm absolutely going to.
Oh no.
My mother asked, "How many books do we read at one time, and should I dye my hair red?" So to the second part of that question, yes, mom, you should absolutely dye your hair red. Um, she used to dye her hair, like, a
100%.
ton, and she stopped for a while, and she got back to her because I have, like, the same hair color
Hold
as
on.
my
What
mom.
kind of red?
Knowing my mom, probably, like, a fall red.
Like
So more in,
burgundy.
like yeah, like, in the burgundy family, knowing my mom.
Yes, I do
Yeah.
that all the time, but I only do the bottom half of my hair. So,
Oh,
like, I
she'll go the
part my
full head.
hair like a half ponytail and put it up, and
Mhm.
I do the bottom half because I don't my hair's so freaking long, like,
Yeah, you
I
gotta
can't
chop that bitch off.
I know, but I've always done, like just to have, like, the kinda rock star, like, peeking out, but I
Yeah.
used to have it, like, Ariel red. And then I kinda gradually started moving towards the burgundy, which I feel like was a real sweet spot, and then
Mhm.
lately I've been doing more of the, like, violet, more of a purplish burgundy,
See,
but I
I'm more in the
love the
purple
red.
family, and my mom was more in the red. So, yes, mom,
Yeah.
you should dye your hair red.
Yes, you should. Mhm.
And to the how many books do you read at the same time?
1.
1. I am not a multi-reader.
I'm
However,
not either.
the reason I think for us is almost the same. We
Yeah.
start a book and we both finish it within a day or 2, especially
Yeah.
with the space you're going at right now. I don't have time to multi-read. The only scenario that I might multi-read is if the book I'm reading isn't bad, but I'm not attached or I'm bored and I want to give it a fair shot. Then
Mhm.
I'll go read something else or I'll audiobook something else, but, like, just that's kinda like the art of the soft DNF, but I will go back to it.
Yeah, I've done
But
that,
it's, like,
but
the book I go right back to as opposed like, I would say if it's the book I pause, read something else really fast, and then come back. But I'm never like, shoo, shoo, shoo. And I know the reason she asked this woman is reading 7 books at, like, the same time. I don't
Mom,
know how.
no.
Mom,
How do you do that?
I don't know how she does it. She does, though,
How do
and
you
she's got a pretty good reading streak going right now herself.
That's crazy. Listen, this is why I can't do that, okay? Because I think it was in the last episode, I mentioned when I am reading a book, I am in the book.
Mhm.
Like, I am on that adventure with those characters, and I talk about books like, oh yeah, we just crossed the parapet. Now we're, working towards
Yeah.
threshing. Like I am in that story.
I just
And
imagine,
so I
like, if you
can't jump
were, it would
out.
be,
Like,
like, plucking you and then just moving you to be like,
yeah,
"Whoa."
I can't go to like dating a hockey player and then go ride a dragon and then come back
What a combo.
and be like trying to solve a murder mystery. Like I can't do those things like that.
No. And my mom is, like, thriller, horror, political, fantasy. So,
Oh
like,
wow.
those are, I would say, her 4 big genres, and I
Mhm.
like, "Mommy, how you do
I
that?
don't
Because
I could never
not
my
my
brain
brain."
I could listen, I can compartmentalize so well, but not at that level. There is no way that I would be able to compartmentalize that well to be able to read
I'm
different
not
books
kidding
like
when I
that.
say like 7 books.
Yeah.
She has a pile in her living room that are her, like, working through pile, and she'll
And
read, like, a couple chapters here, go to the next, like,
mhm.
"Mom, I
And
don't know if
I
you're, like, a
tried.
superhuman, but I can't do that."
You know where the proof is of me not ever doing that? The Caraval series and Once Upon a Broken Heart.
Yes. Wait, 1, 2, 5, 3. Just skip a
And not
4.
even
Realizing
realizing
it,
that it
yep.
was part of the same universe. Like, I'm
Reading it
sitting
at
here
the same
thinking,
time.
I think it's because I just see the similarities because I'm also reading that book. But then I'm like, wait, did this happen in this book or this book? Yeah, no, I will never do that again. One
It's
all the
actually
way
just the
through,
same
and then I'm
world.
done, and then I go to the next.
Yeah. Number 5,
Okay.
how do you build your TBR? You have a science to it now.
I have a system and I
Yeah, you
love
do.
it.
Which you've kind of touched base on in some of our last episodes, but I don't know if
Mhm.
you've ever, like, yours is very, like, systematic in how you've put it
Yes.
together now. I like your system. It could never work for me, but I know what a,
Mhm.
like, list brain you have. I do think because you're doing it this way, this is the best reading year you've had. I mean, we're only 2 months in, but, like, you're
I'm
crushing it.
killing it, man. I am
Like,
killing it.
it's I think the list system is really working for you, and it's
It
also
is.
taking the pressure out from you figuring out which books to read. Could not be me, though, with how I make my TBRs.
So the first thing that I do is I go to my text message thread between you and Mel and I write down all the books that you tell me I have to read. Do you listen to the podcast? This is how my TBR gets built. This is
Whoops,
half of it right here.
it's fine. You like
No.
ma 90% of the books that I have you read, and if not, we fight about it, and it makes for great
I
content.
know, I know. Okay, so here's the rundown of my system
Yeah,
that's working so well for me.
it really is. So
I have an app called Wheel Decide, and I have an Apple. So I have one wheel that I spin that says series, standalone. I think I need to separate some of the ones like I have it all under series, but I also have another one I need to make another one that's like duology,
mhm,
like to separate them because the wheel
yeah.
is a little bit
The
messy.
wheels, let's just say the pie charts are so small, you actually can't see what's on them unless you, like, zoom in, or
Yeah.
you just wait for it to select what it is, and then it'll just tell you because they're
Yeah, because
so
it tells you at the
thin.
top when it actually lands on something. But
Mhm,
so I spin the wheel and it says, standalones, series, TBR backlog. I did have the next in the series, like series that I've already started that I need to read
uh-huh.
the next ones. And then I have one that's screen to print.
Yes,
And
because
then I
that's
have
your
personal
bookish
recs.
resolution.
Yes. And then I
Yes.
have personal recs as well. So I spin the first wheel, it lands on one of those. Each of those has its own wheel. And
Mhm.
so whatever it lands on, so if it lands on series, then I go to my series wheel and I spin that. And then whatever
She
it lands
spins
on,
that
I like,
wheel.
I know. And
Every time I hope
because
you say that.
I every time it lands on a series or a book or whatever, I go and I look on all of my apps. So Libby, Everand, Audible, whatever. I see if it's available. If it is, it goes on my TBR. Depending on how, like, if I land on a series that has, oh, I don't know, 7 books, because that's happened.
Many
I
times for
put
you.
it on there, but it will determine whether or not, like, if I keep landing on series, I'm going to respin because there's no way I could do like 3 different series that all have 5 to 7 books, you know?
Imagine if you got, like, the Harry Potter series, the Throne
I
of Glass
know.
series, the Daughter of No Worlds, like, The
Nope.
Legacy of God series, like, all of
Nope.
those have 7 or 8 books.
Yeah, no. And I those would be respins. And I would
Yeah.
respin or I would go immediately to a TBR backlog. Sometimes I do that instead. And it's all dependent on what I can find available. If I can't find anything available, then I just hold on to it and I spin again.
Mhm.
But it works out so well. I build a nice TBR. And while I am reading them, depending on how well I'm crushing it, sometimes I will have things on hold in Libby that pop up. And I'm like, yeah, I'll read that too, and I'll just kind of squeeze it in somewhere. And I tend to go through the list, not necessarily in order. I try to go in order, but I'll more so go through by feel. So,
The
like,
mood, yeah.
if I need a fluffy one, if I have any fluffy on there, like if I need something that's going to be more funny because I just read something heartbreaking,
I
like,
did say that to you the other day, that is the only flaw to your system,
yes,
is it doesn't account for heartbreak books need something fluffy or a palate cleanser after, and
yeah,
sometimes you don't have that many,
hmm,
or you don't have any. So that I would say
yeah.
is, like, your only flaw to your system.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I mean, I'm still working on it, like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
change it up
It's only
because
month
I
what,
do
2
like
of
the
you doing it this
wheel.
way?
Yes, and I
Yeah.
do like the wheel. I am horrible at making decisions. Absolutely terrible. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm indecisive, but I haven't decided yet. Kinda terrible. Like,
Yeah.
it's bad, okay?
It is.
I always order my usual everywhere I go because I already went through the agony of deciding what I want once, and I don't ever wanna do it again. So, I get the usual everywhere.
I love you.
Hubby
You're
never
that
has to
person who
ask me
orders,
what I
like,
want.
chicken nuggets everywhere.
No, spicy McChickens if I'm
Well,
going to
yes, I
Mackey's.
assume, like, there's a but, like, you know how you go out and there's always that
Yeah.
person who's like, "Chicken tenders and french fries," no matter, like, even at a steakhouse is getting chicken tenders and french fries?
Oh, no, I have a usual at each place. It's
Okay,
always
so it is
different.
separate, okay. So
Yeah.
you're not
It's
that
always different.
level.
Right.
At least it's, like, it's custom to the restaurant.
Yes, it's
Okay.
specific to the restaurant, but then I also have specific restaurants that I wanna eat at and
Of
probably
course you
nothing
do.
else. I don't like trying anything new. Like, I will try something new, but it's gonna take me forever to order anything.
That
So, I
tracks.
like having my
That
will
tracks
because
so
I don't
much.
have to make the decisions. The only decision is like, "No, I'm not up for that."
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I
I've
just
thought
respin.
about that sometimes, and I'm glad that you do. I think you've said it in the past of, like, the art of a soft DNF, or, like, if I'm really not in the mood for that,
Mhm.
it just respin.
Yeah, respin.
Because I do think you work really well in a system and with lists and a to-do list, essentially, but if you're really not in the mood, it could ruin your experience for a book that you could potentially love, but if you're not in the mood for it, it's going to
Right.
ruin it for you, and I
Which
don't
has
need that to
happened
happen to books that I want you to read.
because it has.
Yeah, if you're in a bad mood, there have been times where I'm like, we just did it to you last month with Wildfire.
Yep.
You had been somewhat in a mood, and we both were like, "Put that book down right now." Like, we were our angry mom voices, like, "Don't you
Yeah.
dare read that book if
You
you are
and
in a
Mel
bad
both, you were
mood."
like, do not
No.
touch that book in that mood."
No, because if you're, like, in a cynical, dark mood, you're not gonna want, like, a spicy, fluffy
No.
campfire
Mm-mm.
hockey book, so don't touch it. Like, make sure
Yeah.
you're in a better mood to read the happy books. If you wanna
Mhm.
be bitchy, read the bad or the dark or the scary or the cry books. That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't read the happy
Or
things if
something
you're
that
not in
none
a
of
good
y'all
mood.
have read so that when I tear it apart, you don't
Also
care.
works. Yeah, read a horror book. I'm never gonna read it. I don't care what you say about it. It's perfect for me.
So what's your system?
So mine is it changes month to month, but for the most part, like, the structure, the outline of my TBR is the exact same. So I'm in, like,
Dang it.
4 or 5 book clubs, and those go at the top of my list. I write them all down for whatever we're doing. If it's, like, TBR Titties, which is why I'm glad that in that and also, like, our fantasy reads, we pick series or interconnected standalone series,
Mhm. Mhm.
so it's picked for the next, like, 3, 4,
Several
5, however
months,
long it,
yeah.
yeah, because then we don't have to think about it,
Which I hate.
because when it's time to think
I
about
hate
it,
it.
yeah, but we do interconnected standalone, so there's no
I
true plot
know.
that goes plot to plot to plot, minus a
But it
little bit with the
kinda
Devil's
does.
Night series, it did.
I was
That was
gonna
the
say it
one
kinda does because Devil's Night was the first one that I really did with y'all,
I was gonna say the
and
Hockey
that was
Gods one that
really
you dropped
hard.
out on didn't. There was no, like,
Yeah.
underlying plot that carried. The Devil's Night,
Yeah.
I will say, did. The one we're about to start I don't think it does. I'm like 90% sure the only thing that carries over is I think all the guys are on the same hockey team. Like I don't think there's like a carrying plot the way there was with Devil's Night. But so I put down all of my book club reads, any buddy reads I have lined up for the month, which, I always have a couple of those. Those get put next on the list.
Just a few.
Just a few. And then I have the reading journal that I'm now doing, which has like a bingo card set up. So I
Bingo!
go through that.
Yay!
There's like a theme for each month. So I do that. And then if there's a holiday in the month, I look up my cute little novella to just chuck on there because I want to be
Mhm.
festive. So like I have my V-Day. Now I'm going to look for a St. Patty's one for March. And then after that, I just kind of go vibes, honestly. I see how many I'm at, which is typically I'm probably already at 10 to 12 between bingo buddy reads and book clubs. So then I'm like, all right, I need to pick at least 8 to 10 for myself because I will always make like a 22 to 24 book TBR. I don't always hit that.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm close, sometimes I'm not even near it, but I will always do 22 to 24 books because then it just kind of gives me options to shuffle through because I'm also a mood reader within my TBR. So then I just try to see what all of my book clubs and stuff are. If it's like heavy in the dark romance or heavy in the fantasy, then my personal picks are going to be complete opposite because I need a nice, well rounded selection or I'm going to get bored and I'm going to do terrible on my TBR.
Mhm.
So I just kind of like now too with my book resolutions, I'm like, all right, let's pick at least one book that's on my physical TBR, one book that's one book that's recent it's coming out this month. So I just kind of cycle through all of that. And if there's a book that I keep looking at, so like I know next month I'm probably gonna put Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman on there because I just keep seeing it and I know it's gonna wreck my soul and I know I'm gonna cry. And I know I just did a crying book, so I should probably skip for a month. But I keep seeing this book and I want to
Mhm.
read it so bad. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So if I have a vibe with a book, then I'm also going to do that. And yeah, just kind of, it's vibes mostly. There's like assigned 10 to 12 and then vibes.
I like that.
But I do try
Well,
to make sure I'm all over the genre so that way I can just go
oh,
around because
yeah,
I
for
don't go in the
sure.
order I wrote it down and then the photo I send you, I don't read
Yeah.
in that order. I read the order I want to read, or if we're like assigning the dates in which we're reading them,
I was
Rubik's.
gonna say, wouldn't it be nice to be able to read them in the order that you want to read them in? Wouldn't
You're the
that be
one who
nice?
assigned dates for reading things.
Hold on.
Heartless Hunter, you assigned the date. You picked the date for that.
Uh-huh. What date did I pick?
February 28th.
Why?
Because you have to read it back to back. Because then we're going to do Rebel Witch for March. We're going to finish the Powerless trilogy in April because that's when that book comes out. And then May or June is when the new Rachel Gillig books come out, or the first one for
That's
her new
right.
duology that she's doing. And we took an oath. If she put
Yeah.
anything out, we're reading it.
Yeah.
Don't know when the next book is coming out, so we may suffer, but we're reading it. But yeah, so I don't like having assigned dates that we're reading it. I'll do it for you because I know you're doing your back-to-back thing.
That's the only reason why I wanted to do it on a specific date this time. Y'all are normally the ones that's like, "So you're not starting this book with us tomorrow?" I'm like, "Who said we're starting tomorrow?" We said it in the chat like a week ago."
Yeah,
I'm like,
because the
"Oh,
point of a buddy read is to get a
fine."
buddy read.
Well, I'm
The
saying those
irony
are the
that
only
both
ones
of our
I
buddy
assign
reads
dates
got
for.
assigned for the last week because we're doing the Pucking Wrong Number next week too.
I still haven't found that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume you also you didn't read Puck Shy because you didn't find that one.
I mean, if I can't find it.
You are not getting out of reading that book with me. I don't care. You can just hand read it like a normal person like a pretend you're deaf. You're gonna read it. I
I
read it.
don't
You can read it
want
too.
to.
Too bad. Number 6, paperbacks are hardcover. Now this is funny because you're rebinding.
But also audiobook?
That was not an option. If you were gonna hold a book in your hands while listening to your audiobook, would you prefer to be
Mhm.
holding a paperback or a hardback or a
If
hardcover?
it's between, I prefer the Kindle, but if it's between those two specifically, hardcover. Mainly because I feel like I'm less likely to damage a hardcover than
Okay,
I
I can
am
see
to
that. You
damage
won't
a
because you
paperback.
can't crack a spine on a hardcover.
Yeah, and also I have kids and, spills happen. And
Okay.
if a spill happens on my table, I feel better about wiping off a hardcover than I do trying to save a paperback. Although now I know how to repair pages, so it's not that
You
bad,
do.
but
Yes.
I still don't want to have to because it is very tedious.
Fair enough. I am a
Yeah.
paperback girly through and through. However,
Why?
the only switch with that would be my special editions are hardcovers.
Why
So
paperback though?
I don't like hardcovers unless it's a special edition.
Oh,
Paperbacks, This is the other thing. I'm a romance reader.
Mm,
Hardcover romance makes no sense in my brain. Don't ask me why. But like with the Emily Henry books, they always get released as hardcover first, and then like 7, 8 months later, then the paperback will get released. So I have to wait like 7 or 8 months every time I want the new Emily Henry book.
right.
But I don't like hardcovers, especially as a romance book. It should be paperback. I don't know why. I don't
I'm
know who
like, I'm
did it.
like, what makes paperback romantic? I don't understand that. But, I guess so
When you
my
think of, like, the classic Harlequins from, like, our when our moms and our grandmothers were reading them, they were all paperback.
were
Hardcover
they?
yeah, hardcover releases are a newer thing in the romance. But in, like, fantasy, I have a couple that, like, all my Fourth Wings are hardcover.
Yeah.
All my Harry Potters are hardcover. My special editions that I have are these are that's like dark romance, but it's demons. Well, within the fantasy magic realm. Like these special editions are all hardcover, but those are original and those are paperback. I
Yeah.
just prefer paperback. But also remember 99.99% of my books are shelf trophies.
That's
They're not
true.
getting opened. They're
Yeah,
being
because you've already
purchased
read
and
them
being
on your
displayed.
Kindle.
Yeah. But for
Mhm.
purchasing, I still they're cheaper too. I prefer
Yeah.
paperback. I also just I hate dust jackets.
Oh, I hate dust
I
jackets too.
hate dust jackets,
I
and I
hate
don't want
those.
them.
I typically, if every time I have had hardcovers in the past, like I take the dust jacket off because
See
I don't like them. My answer is like my logical answer, like this is what makes sense to me.
mhm,
But like a more feely answer, if I am holding a hardcover, I like the way that feels. Like a
mhm,
leather bound book or a hardcover book, like the solid durability of it,
yeah.
like this could stand the test of time kind of book, you know?
Yeah.
Like it just feels solid and I like that feeling. I like that just solid chunk in my hand. And I think I think I like the feel of a hardback book, but not a dust jacket. Get those away from me. Those are terrible.
Hate dust jackets. They are flimsier than a paperback.
Yeah.
Hate them. This is a fun one. Where's your favorite reading spot? This is fun because we both read all over the place.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I'm in the car, I'll do an
Hmm.
audiobook. I can audiobook in my kitchen. I could be reading on the couch. I could be reading in my chair that I'm currently sitting in that we record in. But I do have a favorite spot.
Where?
My bed.
I
I
can't
love
read in bed.
I think it's because of the way my bed is set up. I don't have a headboard. So I have my bed is obviously I have a corner, like my bed's pushed into the corner, and
Yeah.
I have pillows galore. And I have like
Mm-hmm.
a cloud of pillows set up, and I just lean into it with my Kindle. And I have my frame is set up in a way that I can put my Kindle arm on the frame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm laying in a cloud of pillows. My Kindle arm is over me, and I'm click, click, clicking my page turner, and I'm in heaven. My favorite place to read is my bed.
Let me tell you why I can't do that. I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah, you are.
And you know what else I'm going to do when I fall asleep? I'm going to forget to put the sleep timer on my audiobook. And I'm going to wake up an hour and a half later when my body is like, we don't get more sleep than this. What do you mean? I'm going to wake up and I'm going to hear plot twists that I shouldn't be hearing yet. Not knowing what the hell is going on or how
Yeah.
we got to the place that we're in. I can't do it. I can't. I like to listen to books most, I guess, while I'm doing something else, like mainly cooking. I
Mhm.
like listening to my books when I'm cooking. And I really like listening to my books while I'm crafting, like rebinding or building
Yeah.
something. I really like that because
You're multitasking.
I'm multitasking, but it's not just that. Like I don't know if you know this about me. I tend to overthink things a little bit.
You?
Um yeah.
It's almost like the purpose of me not telling you these questions ahead of time was so that you wouldn't overthink them.
I
That I
don't know why
needed
you're
to just
yelling.
organic straightaway answer.
I don't know why you're yelling.
I
So
know.
I tend
I'm
to
so sorry.
overthink things a little bit. So when I am crafting, I already have like a vision in mind.
Mhm.
And if I am listening to a book, that is where my brain is focused. And my hands just kind of go on autopilot. Like
Yeah.
I don't overthink my designs or overthink like, the teeny little details of things because I'm focusing on something else. So it helps me to craft. Other than those two things, cooking and crafting, I have found being on my couch,
Mhm.
which I have 2 couches. One is, like, fabric covered, and then the other one's leather, but has a recliner in it.
Oh, a good reclining couch.
So, I
So
can go back and forth to either one of those, but I like being on the couch in the corner spot. Yes, I am like Sheldon Cooper. I do have a spot.
That's my spot.
That is my spot. I like being in that spot because I can see the rest of the house. I like putting a fireplace video or something on my TV, putting my headphones on, having my Kindle, and then I can watch the baby run around and play
Mhm.
or, just watch my kids do what they're going to do and check in when I need to and check out when I don't. So far, those are my favorite. If I'm
Yeah,
going to
but I
sit
would say
down to read, I go in my
do
living room.
we read everywhere.
Yeah, seriously, everywhere.
Like, I could read anywhere. Give me my
Mhm.
Kindle, give me my audiobook, I could do it anywhere, I don't care.
Yep.
Unless you're Rubik's won't read in the car anymore. And I
That
understand
also
why.
assumes they
I
actually
understand
leave the
why.
house, though.
That's true.
That means
No.
putting pants on. Like, no thanks.
Nah. Okay, number 8. Your favorite romance trope versus your favorite fantasy trope, and which do you prefer of the 2? I probably can guess that you're gonna prefer your fantasy trope. Do you want me to do mine? Because I know what mine are?
Yes.
Okay. So my favorite romance trope is marriage of convenience. I am a damn sucker for a marriage of convenience. Don't ask me why. I just love it. And then my favorite fantasy trope is the enemies to lovers. And here's the thing. I think marriage of convenience is my overall favorite trope because I think that trope could do well in both romance and fantasy.
That's fair.
Enemies to lovers in a contemporary romance is stupid. They're
So
not fucking
stupid.
enemies. They annoy each other. They're not enemies. I want an enemy where,
Yeah.
like, murder. They're trying to murder each other. That's why for me, my romance trope of the marriage convenience is my favorite of the 2 because it carries for both. And I think well, because I would consider a certain thing in The Black Witch is a marriage of convenience. Well, it wasn't 100% like, "Hey, marry me,"
Forced
but it
marriage.
kind of was, but it was still marriage of convenience
Yeah.
because it wasn't like neither one of them were okay with it. Obviously, there was some force aspect to it, but it was for
Yeah.
sure a convenience because, like, the alternate was not a convenience. But
Right.
that
Like
I would
death,
say is a
you
good
know.
carryover for the marriage of convenience, arranged marriage. So I would say of mine, the romance trope is my favorite, only though because it can switch. Because otherwise, I do love enemies to lovers because it comes with the best banter. So
That's
good.
true. Yeah.
But I'm a sucker. I love marriage of convenience.
I am going to say childhood friends to lovers.
Ugh, that tracks for you.
I know.
That's like
I
the one trope
know.
we differ on a lot too.
I know. I know. But
'Cause
I think it is
you
because
swoon for it, and I'm just like, "Me."
But here's the main reason why I swoon for it. I have to have character development in my stories. If I do not have character development, and I'm not just talking about in my books either, like any movies or shows, movies not so much because they're shorter, right? Like kind of like a
Yeah,
novella. Like you're not going to have enough time to get in deep. But like if I'm watching a TV show and there's no character development, I don't care. Like
yeah,
I want to see the change and grow. I want to see people's ideas, emotions, and like I want to see them affected by things in
yeah,
their story. So I need character development. And the most character development I ever see is in childhood friends to lovers because you get to know them as kids. Like you discover the changes from when they knew each other as children to where they're in their romance and then you see them continue to change and grow through their romance. So
mhm,
like that's almost a whole lifetime, you get to see of their development, their character development. So I
yeah.
like that most. Fantasy is harder.
I also don't know that your romance one would carry over to fantasy. At least
No,
not well. I don't know if I
not
think that would
well.
bore me to tears in a fantasy book.
I think for fantasy, at least what I don't know that it's my favorite, but what I have gravitated towards
Mhm,
is I like the dystopian games lately. There's been a lot of fantasies that we've been reading or that I've been reading that have the dystopian game trope in it. I don't hate enemies to lovers in fantasy, just not a fan of the bullying part of it, but
as was discussed our last
as was
episode.
discussed the last one, sometimes it comes off cheesy, but when it's done well, I do like a chosen one trope when it's done well.
Mhm.
And I like I guess I like magic school. Like not so much the school setting, but I like
I would
learning about
say after
magic.
enemies to lovers, the magic school I am also a sucker for because,
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Divergent wasn't, I'd say, a magic school, but it was definitely like a faction schooling setup for it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
part of why I liked that.
Yeah,
The
I like
Zodiac
seeing people
Academy.
become powerful. I
Yeah.
like that change and grow aspect, I think, across the board. Like, I like watching people become confident, oh, this is a therapy session right now because that's probably the thing that I want most for myself is I want to become confident and I want to feel powerful. So I like
Alright,
watching
so
that in my
get Rubik's
characters. There you go.
Hogwarts letter.
I know.
Send this
Where
bitch to
is my
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts letter?
We're a little bit past the age of 11. It's fine.
Where's my owl? Damn it.
You ready for another easy one?
Yes.
Okay, number 9. What is your drink of choice while reading?
Ooh. Okay.
You have it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I'm so impressed that didn't take you that long to
But
get together.
bitch, hello, my usuals. This is
This is true.
easy, okay?
Creature of habit.
Creature of habit, okay? If it is before 2 p.m.,
Okay.
coffee.
Shocker.
I know. It's so surprising. If it is after, my drink of choice
Mhm.
would probably be some kind of like fruity cocktail or
I like that 2 was your cutoff for the cocktail.
well, okay, no. I guess no. Damn it, Taylor, why do you have to make it like that? I just don't want to drink coffee after 2 p.m., okay? I just don't want to drink coffee after 2 p.m. because of the heat, okay? I am a
Listen,
Texas girl.
I'm
It
not
is
a
hot
drinker, so
here.
that's why it was so funny
I
for you to
know, I
go,
know, I
"After
know.
2 PM, I want a cocktail." Girl!
But no, I am all about temperature control. So
Yeah.
I don't like having hot things in the afternoon because like it's the same for lunch. Like you can ask my husband. Makes him so mad because I'll be like, "What are we going to do for lunch?" And he's like, "Well, let's have some more chili or let's get burgers." And I'm like, can you just make me a sandwich?"
You're a
And
saint.
he's like, "Why?" Like,
So
"Because
not
that stuff
do
is
you
hot, so I
dictate
want it in
what
the evening when it's cooler because it's hot."
so you dictate what people
Yeah.
can eat based on the holiday or season, but you also dictate the temperature based on the time of day? I know your hubby occasionally listens to these in full. To hubby, I am so sorry. You are a saint. That she won't let you have chili for lunch if
No,
it's
he
before a
can have
certain
it, but
time?
I want I he can have it, but I don't wanna eat anything hot in the afternoon. So I will have a sandwich and I will have cold cuts. I won't toast my anything.
I'm gonna send that man a DoorDash card or something. Just he can have whatever temperature food he wants without you being like, "I don't
He
know."
does though. I just want something cold in the
But you're like that
afternoon.
child who's like, "I don't wanna eat what the rest of the family's eating, so now I have to make separate meals."
Please, who do you think makes the meals?
Okay, but, like, I've seen some of the dinners you make. You make hot
Yeah.
stuff for dinner?
For dinner
Oh
in
my
the
god.
evening
I
when
gotta
it has
okay.
gotten cold. Before 2 p.m., I will have coffee.
I think I need to
After
see
2 p.m.,
a food
it'll be something
therapist.
fruity.
Mhm.
After like dinner time, I would like, I mean, I don't typically go for wine, but
Uh-huh.
something along the lines of like a cocktail or a glass of wine.
You're so
The way
complicated
you are
and I love
judging
you
me right
a
now is
little bit. I just
ridiculous.
learned something new about you that I'm, like, absolutely gonna have to share with Mel or somebody to just be like,
God,
I need someone to process it with me because I just love the way your brain works. Like, I
I
still
know
love
it's
I
so
will
weird.
never forget that you would not let that man have an apple pie until a certain time of month. Even though apples are a fall food, we
I
couldn't
know
have the apple
they
pie
are.
until Christmas. Like, I will never forget that bit of
It's not my
information.
fault. Apple
It
and
literally
cinnamon says
sits in
apple
here.
cider, and that says Christmas to me. Like that's just
Apple's season of ripeness is the fall. It will
I'm
never leave my
aware.
brain that
I know.
you dictated no one gets apple pie until Christmas Eve. Like, I'll never let it go. Just so you're aware. The frogs, that's nothing compared to the apple pie. I'm holding on to that bit of information. If I ever come visit you, I'll aim for the fall and I'm bringing an apple pie just to like watch you spiral. I am drinking water or Dr. Pepper. So that's it.
Mm.
I'm either
But
drinking
that's all you ever
honestly,
drink.
correct. I
Or
don't really
Alani.
or Monster Energy. Like honestly, in the mornings, it's very water, energy drink, coffee. Like that's my combo that I'm drinking.
Mhm.
But once I have my first cup or my first can of my energy drink or cup of coffee, it is water until after my kids go to bed. And then I go into my closet where my secret stash of Dr. Pepper is hiding, and I crack open a Dr. Pepper and I read my book. I am a Dr. Pepper girly. I hate Diet Coke. So sorry, Diet Coke girlies, but I am a Dr. Pepper girly. So
Same.
yeah, water. I wouldn't say coffee or an energy drink because I typically am not reading until after I've had one of those because I
Mhm.
don't function. As you know, I don't function until one of those beverages was consumed.
Yep.
And then I move on to water for the rest of the day. So yeah, I'm either it's water or my like after the kids are in bed, it's Dr. Pepper.
Number
On a new
10.
question.
Okay.
This I thought was such an interesting question, and I don't know if I've ever seen it asked before.
Oh.
Do you need to buffer in between books or do you leap into the next one?
Ooh.
I was like, wait, that's such a good question.
That's a really good question. I would say not normally. Normally, I just dive into the next one because I'm going through my list, right?
So
Of
if
checking
you
things
finish
off.
an audiobook at 2:30 in the afternoon, at 2:35 have you started the new one?
Yeah. Because
Damn.
I mostly just go to my Libby and go to the next one. Part of the reason why,
No wonder you're always telling us, you're like, I haven't digested it yet. Yeah, because you didn't give yourself a chance to and you went right to the next book.
no, I mean, I have to, part of the digesting is I have to get out of it for a minute to process
That's
what
wild.
I read. Yeah.
So
Not
you're a
really sad.
leaper. You're like on to the next goodbye.
Yeah, I go into the next one.
I would say 95% of the time I am also a leaper. However, it depends on two factors.
Okay.
When did I finish the book and can I breathe after? Like
Right.
when I finish a really sad book, typically I'm aiming to finish it at a certain time of night so I can cry for 30 minutes and then go to sleep and then I can start a new book in the morning because I'm fresh. But if I don't happen to finish it at night and it is something like a finish in the afternoon, then I might take the rest of the day off.
Mhm.
Essentially, take
Yeah.
some PTO from reading. But yeah, normally, depending, like if I finish a book at 7 o'clock at night, sometimes I don't go into the next one simply because of the two of us. I am a sleepy bedtime girl. If I start a
I don't know
brand
what
new
that's
book
like.
at like 8 o'clock, because obviously the like 7 to 8 is my like bedtime jungle fiasco with my children right now. Sometimes I don't have the mental capacity to start a book after I put them to bed, but also if I start something, I don't want to risk not going to bed on time because then I'm a
Yeah.
cranky bitch in the morning if I don't get the proper amount of sleep, as everyone knows. So mainly I'm a leaper. However, if it's too close to bedtime, I'm gonna buffer. Or if I genuinely am like emotionally distraught, or if it's a big thinky book after and I'm like, whoa, or you get the
Mhm.
hangover because it was so good, then I do need to buffer a little bit. But it's never like a big buffer. I'm not like a days kind of buffer. I'm either like a couple of hours, run an errand, do some dishes, cook a meal, or go to sleep. Like that's my biggest buffer. It's never like days. I don't buffer that long.
That makes sense.
So I already know the answer for you on this one.
Oh boy.
Number 11 is, do you read in silence or do you need noise?
What do you think my answer is?
You can't sit in silence. You're one of those people that I guarantee. So there was a book I read that I love that I actually reread last year. But one of the main quotes is, I can't sit in silence. It's too loud. And I think that would be
100%.
you to your core.
100%. It's not that the silence is too loud. I think it's, well, part of it. Okay. Part of it is the silence is too loud. The other part of it is my thoughts are too loud. I have
You
to have
also
something drowning those
audiobook.
out.
So it
Yeah.
almost is like it's impossible for you to
Yeah.
read
It's
in
impossible for
silence.
me to read in silence
But the
because
reason you audiobook is you because you
Mhm.
can't. You can't just
I
read
cannot.
because
Even
yeah.
if I'm reading like text, if I'm reading an actual physical book,
Mhm.
I'm reading out loud half the time because
Mhm.
I need noise. I need to hear it. I feel like I get more of the emotion that way too. You know what I mean? Like the dialogue, especially like hearing how that sounds, like how would I be saying that? I feel like I get the
I'm just
emotion.
thinking of how you just what you just audiobooked, and I can't like, do they get really into the emotion of it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was hard. It was hard to listen to.
I read in silence. I used to not. I
I
used
don't
to be
understand.
ambiance, lo-fi. It depends also on my setting. If I am going to be easily distracted, then sometimes I do need the buffer. However, I, for the most part, I want to crack open my window and just listen to the wind.
But see, you're still listening to something.
But that's what I'm saying. I would
Yeah.
rather not. But if I were gonna do anything, if I'm in my,
Oh,
because
okay.
like I said, my sweet spot is my bed. I'll
Mhm.
crack open my window or my fan. I guess my fan makes a noise. But
Yeah.
no, I'm not putting on YouTube. I'm not putting on Spotify. Like I would rather be in silence. Or
I
obviously
can't.
audiobook is its own noise essentially. But yeah, no, I would prefer to be in silence. So we are very opposite on this.
Yes, very.
Silence doesn't bother me. Silence is like rejuvenating for me.
I can only do it in very small spurts. Sometimes when we pomo,
Yeah, I've seen you
um,
do it with the timer.
yeah, where I put just like 5 minutes, I turn all audio off and leave my headphones on because they're noise canceling.
Yeah.
So I'll leave them on and I will just sit in my chair, close my eyes, completely just shut everything out and sit in silence. But I can only do it for small spurts of time, like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
I think the most I've ever done is maybe 10. And that's when I was feeling really overstimulated. So I
That's
can
so
only do it in
wild.
short spurts. I don't do it
Yeah.
well.
I
Yeah.
love silence. I'm like, "Ugh,
Mm-mm.
I can't wait till my kids are in bed and I can just sit." Like, honestly, there are times where I just lay in silence with my phone. Like, there are times where you guys will be texting me before the bedtime, like, cutoff where you know I'm not gonna answer you, where I am ignoring you guys. I have my phone on silence 'cause I'm like, I just want 5 minutes to reset before I go into my night ritual, and, like,
Mm.
I feel like a new person.
Nope. Can't do it.
Oh.
I cannot even sleep in quiet. My
Oh, I
TV
can't
is
sleep in quiet either.
always on.
I have
My
a
TV is on.
noise
I have to
machine.
hear voices. Like I have to hear talking. I have to feel like somebody's talking in the room with me, or I can't fall asleep.
Okay,
So I
that
put something on the
you
TV.
and Mel are sick because when I went to visit her, she did the same thing. She had the TV on, and I was like, "Is that gonna be on all night?" She's like, "No, eventually it'll go off." I was like, "Okay." I need pitch black, and then
Mm-mm.
I have a noise machine that plays thunderstorms.
No.
Like, that is
See, the
that's
TV is
the
my
noise that
noise
I go
machine.
with. But, like, if I hear someone talking, my mommy brain is like, "Someone is kidnapping my children," or my children need like, I can't hear voices. I need thunder. I think also because the area I live in, we get a lot of rain and thunder and snow, like, we always have,
Oh
like,
yeah, that's
we're
nice.
just very loud weather here. It's always, like,
Mm-hmm.
rain, snow, wind, thunder, like, those are our
Yeah.
go-to, so it's just noises I'm used to, so I sleep to thunder, but it's in pitch black, like, there's a fire alarm in my bedroom, and there's a green light that shines to let me know the battery is all set. I have blackout tape over the green light. I cannot do light or voices. It's
Mm-mm.
pitch black, there's a fan, and there's thunder sound. That's, like, the extent
Nope.
of, like, noise needing for me.
Nope.
Otherwise, I
I
want
always
silence.
have my TV is on. Usually I will leave one of my ring lights on or I'll leave one of my monitors on my computer because it's right across from my bed. So like I always have lights on. I cannot have it in the dark, cannot have it quiet. And even if I have my TV on, and which I do, but when I'm going to sleep, my TV it'll judge me, like Netflix, how it judges
Are
you.
you
Like,
still
are you
watching?
still watching? Yeah. When it goes to that, if I don't respond, my TV will turn itself off. And when it does that, I typically wake up. If it does
So if
it too
Rubik's and I
early
were
and then
ever
I
in a
wake up.
relationship, we wouldn't work out.
Nope,
'Cause I would
it
immediately
would
leave.
not work.
Dude, I could not sleep like that. 2.5 years into this, approaching 3, we're learning something new about each other today.
We're learning a lot of new things. I didn't know you were all about silence because that doesn't even compute to my mom
Yeah.
brain. It's like it's quiet. That means something's wrong.
I think it's because at, like, nighttime, I'm like, they should be sleeping. Like, I even though they're in a weird regression or thing right now where they're both pains in the butts to go to bed, my
Yeah.
kids are through the night sleepers, like, they always have
Hmm.
been. So the only time where that's broken is if my oldest, because my youngest is still fully sleeping through the night, my oldest will occasionally wake up and come get me or climb into my bed, and that wakes me up. And so I think that's what it is. Like, I need the silence because it means my kids are okay. During the daytime, if my youngest is being
Yeah.
quiet and we're on a call, I'm leaving you and I'm
It means
running
something. Yeah.
because he's climbed on a counter, he's in the dishwasher, he's in the fridge. Who knows what
Yeah.
that like my youngest when it's quiet during the day, no. He's
Yeah.
no. But at night, quiet, he's sleeping, everything is great.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I mean, and when my kids go to sleep, I'm doing my own thing, and I do enjoy not the quiet, like not silent, but like I guess it's mostly just not anybody coming up and
No
hey
one's saying
mom, hey
mom.
mom, hey
Yeah.
mom.
The next one was kind of hard for me. So number 12, what is your favorite theme for a retelling?
Fairy tales,
Is there
classic
one
fairy tales.
specifically for you though?
I haven't read as many as I want to. I think at this point I've done a Beauty and the Beast,
Mhm.
a Peter Pan, a 12 Dancing Princesses,
Mhm.
another Beauty and the Beast slash Hades Persephone,
Mhm.
which wasn't really a retelling for me because the Hades and Persephone of it was new to me, but it was
Yeah.
still very Beauty and the Beast. So
Mhm.
there's that. So I haven't had enough to know which specific fairy tales. but just the fairy tale retelling, like a story that I already kind of know,
There's a comfort to the
seeing how
retellings.
they redo it. Yeah. I mean, I guess I also the Aladdin and the Lion King, which is
Yeah,
technically Hamlet, like
from
those
the
from the Never After series by Emily McIntyre.
yeah.
I do like those, but I mean, I just like the fairy tale retelling stories that I already know that I grew up with and know so well. I could probably quote the entire freaking Disney movie to you
Mhm.
front to back, but
I do
yeah,
love fairy tale and Disney retellings. However, my niche is always gonna be Greek mythology
yeah,
because I love
I could
Hades
tell
and
that. Yeah.
Persephone, but I do love other Greek mythologies being retold. Like, I've done
You've done a
Aphrodite,
couple of Zeus ones, haven't you?
not
Unhinged.
Zeus specific, and mainly he always just pops in because he's Hades' brother, so he's in a
Mm.
lot with my Hades and Persephone retellings. I've done a couple of Poseidon. I don't know if
Isn't
I've ever done
Zeus
one with Zeus as
the
the main.
isn't Zeus like unhinged? Wasn't that Zeus?
Yeah, but that wasn't a retelling. That was more of
That's
Zeus is
true.
a hoe,
Yeah.
and he made a door child, which, like, yeah, Zeus is a hoe. But yeah, my I Disney fairy tales, they're just fun because you know it, it's a comfort and it's fun to see the twists. But Greek mythology I love. Because you just did another one that was new to you. You did the Song of Achilles. You did an Achilles retelling
Yeah,
in a
but that
way.
didn't feel like for one, I don't feel
It
like
doesn't
that was so much of a retelling as like historical fiction because it was the
I was
same
gonna say for
characters.
you didn't even know
I didn't
what
even
you were
know the
getting into,
story.
so retelling yeah, I guess for you, Greek mythology is not gonna be a huge retelling. Yeah.
My limit of like my history of Greek history pretty much
Is it
consisted of
Hercules?
Hercules,
I knew it.
both the Disney version and the actual show,
I can't believe
Xena Warrior Princess, and oh my god, I think that's it. Oh, Percy Jackson.
oh my god.
That's the extent of Greek mythology.
Wow. I gotta get you on some Greek mythology
I
stuff.
know.
Oh my
I
goodness.
want
Not
to
even
read
like
it
books,
because
just Greek mythology.
I
It's
want to
so
read it because
fun.
I was always really fascinated by it, but I just didn't like I didn't get to that in
I
school
think that's
because I
why
wasn't
the
in
touch of
school during that time.
yeah, I think that's why the Touch of Darkness is my favorite of all of them. Because while the romance and the main story plotline is Hades Persephone, it pulls so like Eurydice is in it and Hecate is in it and Apollo and Hermes is in it. So it's like they pulled so much Greek mythology. So it felt like I was just reading a Greek mythology textbook, but make it like a romance. So that's my favorite
Right.
just because it pulled so much and it wasn't just those two.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think that's on I'm actually almost positive I've seen that series on your spin wheel. It's my favorite,
Yeah.
but I'm a sucker for Hades and Persephone. I
Yeah.
always say I'm gonna stop because I've read so many at this point that I'm like, "Ugh, none of them are like unique anymore."
See, and that's the thing, like
And I literally read another one. So
I knew Hades from Hercules. I didn't even know who Persephone
I was gonna
was.
say most people, if you yeah, if your only knowledge of it is Hercules, you have no idea who Persephone is.
Mm-mm.
Respect for my girl. The next one, I think we've said on podcast episodes. How do we feel about epilogues? Number 13. Epilogues? Question mark.
Garbage.
Yeah,
Garbage.
we're team
Hate
no.
them.
I would rather you leave that shit open-ended, especially in contemporary romance.
Let me come
Honestly,
to
just
my
in
own
romance.
conclusions
Yeah.
because I
I'm gonna
think I'll do it
assume
better.
they got engaged anyway. Like I don't
Yeah.
need to read it. I don't actually care. In my head they did.
Yeah, and it feels like it's typically very cheesy
Mhm.
and it's just not necessary. Like we get it. They fell in love. They're going to be together forever. Like I not a fan. I'm not a fan.
No. It's either
It,
gonna be an engagement,
except
unnecessary smut, baby.
yes, or if you've read A Thousand Boy Kisses, heartbreak.
Heartbreak, yeah.
Because what
Pain.
the
More
hell?
pain on top of the pain you already had.
What the hell, Tilly Cole?
Ugh, she just like
That
took
was
so much of my heart.
torturous.
Yeah. For the
Um,
most part, I hate them. There's honestly been
mhm.
I will read them, but there are times where I skim them, especially once I discover what kind of stereotypical epilogue it's going to be. I skim
Mhm.
that shit. I don't care.
Oh
I
yeah.
read the book. I don't need the epilogue. I don't care.
Don't need to know.
I just I don't need the copy and paste. They got engaged and they're happily ever after. The end.
Bravo. That's
Okay.
great. Yeah, I figured that. I mean, you set me up this entire book. I figured that's what was going to happen. But I don't need that.
No, me neither. I'm good. I don't need epilogues. I
Yeah.
love when a
Let me
book
come to
doesn't
my
have
own
them, or I love
conclusions.
when they're it's just like a fluffy little extra moment. I think those are sometimes cute. Like if it's just a fluffy little something, or if it's a cutesy little tie into the next book, like the Ruinous Love trilogy did, where they're
Yeah,
bonus
that's
fluffy
fun.
scenes, but they kind of hint at what's coming next.
Yeah,
Love
that's fun.
those. The rest of that shit can go. I don't care.
No
I don't.
thanks.
I assumed it happened. Let me assume. Or
Mhm.
if I didn't like the couple, let me just assume that they broke up. So
Yeah. I haven't had that one yet, but yeah.
I've had a couple. The next one, I'll say who wrote it because I told her I would do it because she rephrased the question. How many books would I need to buy to get you to make out with me? Kaylee, I love you. The reason I'm letting her have it is because it was her birthday on the day that we're recording this.
Happy
But
birthday, Kale.
I'm going to interpret the question in a different way. For Kaylee, one, you'd have to buy me at least one. Honestly, it would be for free. But if someone were to buy you books, do you feel guilty if it's more than one, knowing the price of them?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Like,
I love getting books as a gift. Love them. I mean, my favorite Christmas gift. Hello, these two bad boys. If it's anything over two, then I'm almost like, oh, you love me because these are expensive.
yeah.
I
I
do
don't
start
think
to feel guilty.
I already have like gift guilt in general.
Oh, I'm aware.
I have gift guilt in general, so like it wouldn't change. But I don't know. I wouldn't want anybody to buy me a book unless it's already one I know I want to rebind. I mean, I could see that being like,
Mhm.
if you know I love Fourth Wing and you know I want to rebind it and you buy that for me, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna have gift guilt because that's me, but I'm gonna love that.
Mhm.
If you buy me a book that you think I'm gonna like, that's weird to me because you don't know if I'm gonna like it.
I would
So,
never
and
buy you a
I would feel so bad if I didn't
Mhm.
like it. You know what I mean? Like,
Here's what's so funny. We got a book for Kaylee's birthday last year for her, which then turned into our first ever TBR Titties group read where we did the Hockey God series because we got her Brutal Obsession. It's not even her favorite book in the series. I think it's her
mm,
like third, maybe
yeah,
fourth. It might be. It's definitely not her least favorite because I know the second book is her least favorite. But it's not like she doesn't love that book. She's not
no.
purchased the rest of the series. But, like, I know she likes having it as, like, a little shelf trophy because also there's, like, some cutesy, like, memes with it,
Well,
but
yeah, it's our first buddy read.
it just depends on the person because
Yeah.
I could easily buy books for Tish and Mel.
Hmm.
I would be petrified to buy books for you to the point that unless it is a shelf trophy or for you to rebind it, I wouldn't. And then Kaylee, I would only because I know that, like, even if she doesn't like it, she's so nice. This is why when we did the lineup of who's the scariest in our group, she was not at the top. Kaylee would appreciate it, but Kaylee's also a nice raider, unless it's something I genuinely know she's not gonna like. But I would be more fearful to buy you a book and then be like, "Here's a present," because then it almost adds pressure to you, and I don't want you to lie about,
Yeah.
like, "You bought me a book, so it automatically, like, I have to be nicer to it
Yeah.
because 'cause you're a
I
harsh critic." So I
yeah.
I would be nervous to buy
Don't
books.
buy
Like,
me
Mel
books
and Tish,
unless
I
you
could
know
buy
I
books
already love
easily.
them. That's what I'll
Yeah.
say. Don't buy me books unless you know I already love them and you're buying it for me to rebind.
Yeah, I would never. I'd be too scared because it would be like one of our episodes. What if you hate it? And then you just have this book and you're like, I don't want to rebind it or read it again.
Yeah.
Just sitting here.
Now, you know what does make me swoon? Buy me extra Audible credits.
Well,
Buy
that's
me gift cards to
expensive.
a bookstore. Buy
Yeah.
me, like, gift me a month to a subscription
Mhm.
to something. Like, that's great.
Oh, see, I
Don't
wouldn't want the
don't buy
book
me books
subscription because I
unless you know
don't
I
always
love
love
them.
the book boxes, but a gift
Oh
card
no, I meant
or
like
Audible.
gift me Ever and Audible, gift
Yeah.
me something like that, you know?
Pay for one of the months on my subscriptions.
Yes,
That'd be
yeah.
great. Okay, I hear you. So, Kaylee, we actually don't want books. We would like you to pay for 1 month for Rubik's Audible, and you can pay for 1 month for my Kindle Unlimited subscription.
There you go.
Perfect.
But
Okay.
also, we love you, so we'd probably make out with you anyway. I mean,
Yeah, for
we're
sure.
pretty much obsessed with you.
Yeah, for her birthday, of course.
Yeah.
This was an interesting one. No one sent this. This was one that I saw that I was like, that is such an interesting question.
Uh-oh.
So, number 15. Does the weather change your reading mood? I want to say yes for me because I
Okay.
live in an area that I think has more seasons, more weather than your area. Because,
What are
I get all
seasons?
four, I get all the seasons. But yeah, I would say seasonal, like season moods is for sure a thing because I sometimes want to read books that fit the season that I'm currently in.
Mhm.
But even on a week to week basis, like we've been getting our butts kicked with like just snowstorm after snow. We've had like major snowstorms like one a week for the last 3 weeks. And on those really, really snowy days, I've been reading like darker themed books. Well, like when it's sunny and happy out, I do tend to like, especially like spring and summer, I read more fluffy and more romance. So I
Mhm.
would say that the weather weirdly, I think the weather does affect my mood as a mood reader.
I don't think the weather, but holiday seasons more so
Well,
are
yes, because
what
as we've established, you don't
determines
actually
me.
get weather.
No.
Hot, hot, hot,
But
kind of
like
cold.
Christmas, I was all through the Christmas reads. I
Yeah.
think every single book I read in December was Christmas related.
Yeah, but not the happy-go-lucky, not all of them. Some of yours were freaking dark.
Well, yeah, but they were all Christmas related
Yeah,
because I had two Christmas thrillers
you
and
did.
I almost had
Yes.
a third. So, yeah, they're all Christmas related. And now, like in February, everything has been romance so far. I mean, like we read a lot of romance anyway, but these have all been like
Yeah.
real romances. And yeah, I guess I have technically read fantasy, but for their romantasy.
Mhm.
I have one series that are like optional books that I'm squeezing into my TBR because I'm crushing it this month. That I don't think is romance related and it's fantasy. So that'll be a change of pace. But like holiday, like in the fall, I want spooky
Mhm.
vibes. In the winter, I want
You have more of a seasonal
Christmas. Yeah.
mood, whereas I think I have the weather and I think you have seasonal.
Yeah, I like the theme of the season,
Yeah.
like Thanksgiving, like gratefulness, and thankfulness, Christmas, obviously. And
Yeah.
then February is romance.
You saying February is romance, meanwhile you read Thousand Boy Kisses and 13 Reasons Why. So much romance.
They were in love, okay?
Well, the
He
second, yeah,
loved her.
the thousand
He
broken
loved her.
the Thousand Boy Kisses, I'll give you. The 13 Reasons Why,
He
however.
loved her.
Okay.
He loved her and never got to tell her. But anyway, the theme I'm gravitating towards for March is I'm looking at stuff that's like fate, destiny, luck,
Luck,
kind
yeah.
of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Like for the luck, but like, fate,
Yeah.
destiny, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, like seasons, holiday seasons
Mhm.
is what determines a lot of my reads, I guess, but not so much weather. I don't
Okay.
understand weather.
Yeah, clearly.
We don't have that here.
Miss, it's 60 degrees out. Shut up. It's
Listen,
2 degrees.
58 right now. It's cold.
Oh, you poor baby. So 16. Do you like series?
Yes.
No.
I love series. Why
I
don't you
know.
like series?
I
I love
hate them.
series.
I hate being stuck in something for too long. I get bored. The irony that I
No,
say that and I just started a 24-book series, but it reinforces I hate series because I don't want to be stuck in something that long.
no, I want to
Give
see
me
where it goes.
interconnected
I
or
want it to keep
standalone.
going. I want to know where it goes. Like, I am a sucker for a sequel in a movie too, like, or a trilogy. I want to see where it goes. I want to follow these characters and see what happens. And it's unrealistic for it to happen in one book for me.
I hate
So
it.
I love series because I love going through the journey.
Maybe I hate commitment. I hate being stuck in something for that long. Like duology, even 3, like with
That
the Powerless
tracks
series.
because I am all about commitment. I am not
Ugh.
like I am in no way non-committal. Like I
Listen,
that tracks
I
so hard.
I did that for a third of my life. I'm so content with not, so I'm good. I just series means I'm stuck in it for a while and I don't wanna. I wanna move on to the next thing.
When I'm in a series, it's like I just learned all about this world. I just learned all about these people. I want to sit there for a while. I love a series.
Not me. I'm bored. You can give me like a couple. 3 is like my absolute max. After that, I'll begrudgingly do it unless it's
Mhm.
worth it. So far, the Zodiac Academy is worth it, but I'm only 5 books in of the 24. Catch me at book like 13, I might be screaming my head off that I'm stuck. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Or I'll DNF because unlike some of our friends, I love the art of a good DNF.
The only thing I don't like about a series is having to wait for the next one.
Yeah, I do that a lot with
And I have
shows
always been
too.
like that. I have never liked to wait. Oh, yeah. Shows? No, I'm the worst. You can ask my husband. Every single time we are watching a show that is currently airing one episode per week, every single end of the episode, I think I asked him and I was like, babe, what happens? What comes out of my mouth every end of this show or any show that's week by week. And he goes, that's it. Damn it. And I was like, yeah, that's me. I
Yeah.
hate cliffhangers. Don't do that to me. But if the next one is out, I'll binge that shit like nobody's business. Like it is my job. I will binge
Yeah.
TV shows, movie series, whatever. I
Typically
want to go to
shows
the
that I
next one.
jump on, it has to be over, and then I'll jump on the bandwagon. I used to obviously not like as a teen, I did all the CW shows like as they were coming
Yeah.
out. I didn't start watching Game of Thrones until season 5 because I was like, I
Really?
don't want to do this. It's like 10 episodes and you get one a year.
Mhm.
No. I hate it. Like, and now we have to do like I'm doing that with the House of Dragon, and I'm so pissed that I'm doing it again.
I know.
And I'm like,
Every season that comes out,
hate
I
it.
go back to the beginning and rewatch all the seasons prior because I
Yeah.
need to stretch it out.
No, I hate series unless it's finished. Like ACOTAR's not finished, and I'm pissed off that I got pulled into that shit. Throne of Glass I'll
Same.
do, even though it's a ton of
How
books.
dare someone pull me into that? I mean,
I
really,
didn't even force you in. I will
the
take the Fourth Wing
torture.
one. I didn't force you into ACOTAR. I forced you into Fourth Wing. I'll take that. But like Throne of Glass is done. So while it's long and I'll bitch about how long it is, at least it's done. Black Witch, I bitched about how long it was, but I knew it was ending in January or
Yeah.
for what just passed. I don't want to finish something unless I know it's done.
Yeah. That's
Because
fair.
like what if the author doesn't finish it? Because if you think
Oh,
about it,
don't put that out there
George
because
R.R. Martin still has not finished writing Game of Thrones, the books.
I don't put that out there, please.
Sorry.
Mm-mm. Don't
I'll
put
take
that
it
out
back.
there in the universe. Take
Okay.
it back.
Oh, I take it back. Do you want to go to the next one? It's super sweet. The next
Yeah.
couple are very easy, like funsy ones. That's why I put them
Okay.
together. So number 17 is what's your coffee order?
Black like my soul.
Mhm.
No, I actually, if I'm ordering coffee, okay, hold on. I have mood. Okay. If I just need coffee, I will go for a black coffee. I don't mind at all. If I'm making my coffee, I like to make my coffee instead of adding like cream or sugar or anything. I put a tablespoon or two of hot cocoa mix in it. I like that, especially in the winter. If I am ordering coffee from Starbucks, if I am fine and having a normal day, it's a caramel macchiato. If I am not having a good day, it's a mocha.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
The hot chocolate I knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
I drink the same thing 11 months out of the year. I drink a black iced coffee with caramel flavor. If I'm in a bad mood, it has extra caramel. You know what's he doesn't listen to the podcast, so I'm just gonna call him out. Alex, I Snapchat one day my coffee order because I was in a bad mood that day. And it was from Dunks, which even tells you I was in a bad mood because I don't like Dunkin's coffee all the time, especially the one that's near me. You have to go to the
You
right
were in a
one.
bad mood, so you went and got coffee you don't like.
So I was in an extra bad mood because my coffee place was closed that day for what who
Oh.
knows what reason. So I had to go to Dunkin's and I was pissed because I'm just like am a snob. Like I don't like Starbucks because it's too expensive. I don't like Dunkin' Donuts because it's inconsistent. So my happy place, it's a New England based place. It's called Aroma Joe's and I fucking love it. I also used to work there and manage it, but I don't work there anymore, but I love the coffee.
Yeah.
But I will always get an iced coffee because, New England girl, but I had to go to Dunks and I got a medium iced coffee, black, with like extra caramel swirl because I was just in a mood and I was like, I need something sweet. So I stopped being a bitter bitch. And he responded to my snap with, do you want some coffee with that? And I was like, first of all, fuck you. Because it wasn't still was not that much like flavoring in it. But I am normally a black iced coffee with caramel flavoring in it. Unless it's the month of February, I'm having a raspberry mocha the entire month. Because it just
that
feels
sounds
festive.
so good.
I love either a raspberry mocha or strawberry mocha, depending on like my berry vibe that day. But it's it's either raspberry or strawberry mocha. Still black. I don't do cream or sugar. And I don't love oat milk in my coffee. I like oat milk, but not in my coffee.
I
But I
don't
am
like iced coffee.
caramel coffee 11 months out of the year.
I do not like iced coffee. I like
I hate hot.
frappuccinos, and I will drink those after noon if it is hot instead of regular coffee. Put your face away. I see it.
Because we have cold things in the afternoon.
Listen, when it is hot
can't
where
with
you
you.
live, you want something cold and refreshing.
I would like to remind you, it is 2 degrees. Do you know what I had today? 2 iced coffees. I don't care. It could be -40. I'm having an iced coffee. I am from New England. We run on Dunks and we run on iced coffees.
No, when it is summer here in Texas, it is 100 degrees plus.
I see you drinking hot
consistently.
coffee all the time and I think you are insane.
In the morning only when it's cool. Once it starts getting warm, I am literally fighting myself to keep clothes on my body because I am so uncomfortable in the heat.
You're
So,
so
like in the
sick
high
though,
heat.
because I see people who drink hot coffee and they drink it throughout the day to the point where it's like from hot to lukewarm. This sicko, who I love, and I bought it for you, when she was super streaming, she had on her throne a little ceramic. I don't even remember what it was made of, but essentially it's a coffee mug warmer to keep her coffee piping hot the entire time. She doesn't do lukewarm coffee. No, no, she does burn your tongue hot coffee, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it
But I
has a
love
temperature
you.
thing on it where you can turn it up and down to the right temp. It's always at 170 or 180.
I remember buying it for you, and I'm almost positive my message was like, "You should be drinking iced coffee, but I guess I'll support your habit," or something like that. It was like super
Yeah.
snarky, but I was like, "She has to have this because I know you like hot coffee,
And you know
but your
what? If
children
I
make it
leave and
cool too
go
much."
if I leave and I go stay somewhere overnight, I take it
You
with
take it
me.
with you? Oh my I mean, apparently I gave you the
It's
best gift
little.
ever.
Like,
It
it's
is little,
little
yeah.
and it just has one cord to plug in, but, like, it's
You're
little. So,
sick.
yeah,
Did you
I
take it
take
with
it
you to Louise to
New Orleans.
why could
I
I not
sure
where the
did.
fuck you went? New Orleans, thank you. I kept going Louisiana, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Where the fuck
I
is"
don't think
I
I
kept
actually
thinking Baton
used
Rouge.
it. I don't think I actually used it because, like, I drank my coffee pretty fast. But, yeah, I took it with me. Whether or not I actually pull it out, but I can't leave without it, like, because I might want it.
So it's like your emotional support Kindle,
Yeah.
but it's a coffee warmer. I can't. You are
No, I have to take
sick.
the coffee warmer, the headphones, the Kindle, they all come with me.
You're sick.
Yeah,
Don't
if I'm
stop me.
spending the night somewhere, those 3 things are coming with me.
You'd never catch me with a hot coffee. I can't even do a scenario like if I this is the scenario I would drink hot. No, you will never catch me drinking a hot coffee. I hate hot coffee.
Love
It's
hot coffee.
disgusting.
Mm-mm. No, you're
The
wrong.
next
That's
one
fine.
I think is a fun question for you.
Uh-oh.
So, this is a little
You
different
keep
just because
saying
we
that and then you
only
yell at me.
but this one's perfect for you. And I'm just curious honestly, I'm really curious for you because obviously I know my own answer. But in romance books, because I don't think I've ever seen a fantasy book do this, either at the very, very beginning of the book or the very, very end is the author's Spotify playlist for how they felt about the book or what they were listening to while reading it, or like, so I know Binding 13 has it. I don't remember if it was at the beginning or the end, but do you ever look up the Spotify playlist to listen to either during, after, whatever? Or do you ever look up Spotify playlist to go along with the book just to see what other people's vibes are? So essentially the question was Spotify playlists and reading. Do you look them up or no?
So, I have done it twice.
Oh, that's it. See, this is why I thought it was an interesting question for you because I feel like you are the playlist princess. Like you have a ton of really good
Absolutely.
playlists and you're always on
Absolutely.
Spotify.
I never see the playlist because I'm on the audiobook. They don't include that in the reading.
Oh.
And so I never typically know that
I
there
didn't
is
think
one
about
because
that.
I usually start the audiobook and if I am going to read my Kindle or switch to it, I'm already in the middle of the book.
Mhm.
So I don't see the playlist typically. The first time it was the Twisted series,
Twisted Love?
which uh-huh.
That's
And
hilarious because you softy enough that book.
I did.
That's hilarious that the
Totally looked
one
up
that
the
you did is the
playlist,
book
had
you
it
did
ready to
not
go.
finish. And
The
Amazon
only
has
other
great
one I
playlists.
did was Binding 13, and it was
That playlist.
only for our review stream.
Get out. You didn't even listen to it like for what it was. You just did it for our stream.
I just did it for background music in our stream.
Wow, this is not the way I thought you were going to answer this. Because when I'm not a Spotify, I use YouTube Music, so a lot of these playlists aren't on there because they're on Spotify.
Yeah,
So I will just look at what's in on the page or on the Kindle for the author's playlists and then just kind of go from there. Or I follow people who make playlists for books that they've read and I just like the vibes of
right.
them.
Yeah.
I'm not a big like music listener as I read, as I said,
Mm.
but I do like to look and just see like, oh, I recognize this song. And sometimes I'll play, especially if the author says like this song is for this scene and I don't know the song, I will go and play it just to be like, I'm curious.
So there have been a small number of books that I have read where they will be talking about a song playing and I will pull it up and play it.
I hate that. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Really? No, I like it
If
because
it's
it
only done
totally
a
fits the vibe.
handful, if it's just a couple of times, it's
Yeah.
fine. If it's overdone, it drives me nuts. because sometimes I feel like it super dates the book, which is like a weird thing to say because obviously they're writing for the times or like there's slang that's
Mhm.
for the times. The one I can specifically think of, and I know as Mel's listening to this, immediately she thought of the same thing. The Ritual by Chantal Tessier from the Lord series.
Mhm.
I shit you not, did it 33 times. That is too many times.
That's too
She
many.
basically, I want to say, had the playlist. Every single song in the playlist is what she used to talk about in the book. And I'm like,
Okay,
stop.
hold on though. Part of the reason why I wasn't into listening to the playlist was with Twisted Love was it needs to be synced. So I feel like for the ritual, I would like that because it would tell me when I'm supposed to be listening to the next song.
It drove me and Mel nuts.
I could see
See, that's
liking
why I
that.
like
I
the
don't know if
Binding
I will, but
13
I could
one.
see liking it, you know?
Because if you look at the Binding 13 one, which I don't know if you got to see because how you did it, she did the song the moment. So it doesn't say necessarily the chapter, but it's like there was like Shannon's first day in the car on the way to school, Johnny's first time
Okay, I
playing
would
again
like that.
after surgery. So it's like
I
she
would
doesn't
like
give
that,
the
but you know
exact
I'm gonna be
chapter.
sitting there like looking constantly back and forth at the list, like
It's in
when's the
order at
next
least,
one?
like scene to scene, but it doesn't say like
Yeah,
chapter blah blah blah. But it
yeah.
is like how and then there's others that aren't moments, but it's like how Joey feels about Aoife. So there's like little things like that. So she doesn't have it set like a playlist like someone is just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hers is song and then why it's there. If it's a
Yeah.
scene, if it's just a feeling. So I really like how
I like
she does
that.
hers.
I like that idea. But yeah, I haven't done it.
I'm really surprised by that.
I mean, I
Okay.
am too. I didn't know it was in so many of them. Now I kind of want to look back at some
Oh, a
of the
ton of
books I
them.
really like.
Okay, so the next one, 19. Do you have any go-to snacks or candle scents for when you're in your ideal reading setup? Yes and no. Candle, yes. I am a magnolia girly. I go to Target, I sniff, sniff, sniff all of Joanna Gaines' candles, and I say, "You're coming home, you're coming home." And then I go over to the Good Essentials, which is right next to it because they're a little bit cheaper, and I go, You're also coming home with me." So I have a salt one right now that I've been burning like crazy, but anything from the Magnolia for Joanna Gaines line at Target and then the Good Essentials line at Target that just have like that's like clean scent, burning those all the time. I don't even need to be reading and those things are lit. Snack, however, if I'm listening to an audiobook, no. I can't hear myself chew and listen to something at the same time. And then snacking, it has to be something super easy because like I got a hand on the Kindle or if my ideal, I'm in my bed, I don't want to snack on something necessarily while I'm in bed. But if I were to, it's probably pretzels or nerd clusters.
We love nerd clusters here.
I don't like loud chewing foods when I'm reading.
That's fair. Anything berry related, mulberry, cranberry. I like apple sometimes too if it's with berries.
I'm getting a fruit
Um,
vibe from you while you're reading them because you
Fruit
said for
vibe
and the amount of times because you didn't say it when we were talking about ideal drinks, the amount of times that we're recording or we're just vibing
by
and you're drinking
cranberry
cranberry
juice.
juice,
Yeah.
you
I
and
also have
fruit
been drinking a lot of
things.
lemonade lately too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I like fruit things a lot. I also like fruit mixed with different herbs. So, like lemon and basil
Mhm.
or, mint and things like that. I like those things together. But yeah, I typically I cannot do the clean scents. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want
When
fruity
I tell
smells.
you the salt one smells so good. I to be fair, my favorite candle scent, I don't light it when I'm reading though, is Macintosh apples. That's apple is my
Mm.
favorite candle scent,
Yeah, I like
but
apple. This one is
I
warm apple pie.
I just try to avoid them mostly because they're not most of like the fruity ones aren't made with the kind of wax that I try to use. Like I try to be very
Mhm.
mindful of the ones that I'm using, but I also
Mm.
just I don't man, if you were to tell me a year ago that a salt scented candle was like my thing right now,
That
I'd
is
call you
wild to
crazy.
me. That is just wild.
The next time you're at Target, please go to the Good Essentials, find the salt candle and just smell it. I promise you, it's so good.
Yeah, no, I need fruity smells or like at the very least like cinnamon,
Mhm.
nutmeg kind of smells. Now snacks. It's got to be
Ooh, a
my
snack
go-to
queen.
snacks. It's got to be my go-to snacks and I have a couple. Lately it has been, I mean it's been for years, Ruffles and French onion dip. Chef's kiss. my go-to snack. I also have lately been doing flamin' hot Cheetos, like the ones with like the limon, like
I
just a little
love
twang.
Flaming Hot Cheetos.
But have you tried them with ranch dip?
No.
Not the liquidy one, like the same kind as like the French onion dip.
I don't
Just try it. Just
wait.
once. Try it
The
one
way I was
time.
gonna
It's
phrase it,
so
I was just
good.
gonna say, I don't like wet Cheetos. This is something you don't know about me because we didn't know each other when I was pregnant. I when I was pregnant with my youngest, I think I might have said it. My one of my biggest cravings was Flaming Hot Cheetos dipped in Nutella. Pregnancy craving, you leave me alone. Leave her alone, pregnant
Oh,
Taylor. I had the weirdest pregnancy.
no.
I was the stereotypical pregnant lady with the fucking weird pregnancy cravings. But post having him, I don't want my Cheetos to touch anything now
No.
because when I was pregnant, I dipped them in like Greek yogurt. I dipped it in sour cream, cream cheese, Nutella. Like, I don't know what it was, but I needed Flaming Hot Cheetos and some kind of not normal dip. So
Yeah.
now I don't
But
want it near me.
ranch. Ranch.
I don't like that's so interesting because you only do audiobooks. Does that
Mhm.
not?
I listen at a very high volume,
Oh, so you're going deaf is what I'm hearing.
pretty much. Dean's.
Because we both
Dean's
do the
French onion dip.
noise.
That's what it is.
Interesting, because we
Yes.
both do, like, the over the headphone noise canceling, and it amplifies the chewing. So that's, like if I'm doing a regular book, that's why I'll do, like, pretzels, like, I will do the louder food, but I try not to do too loud because I don't wanna hear my internal crunching while I'm reading. I can't do crunchy things while I'm audiobooking, though. That's why
Mm.
typically if I'm audiobooking, it's during the day and I'm not eating.
No, I'm okay with it. I mean, I'll eat dinner while I'm listening to the audiobook, whatever I
That's
made
you're
for
used to
dinner.
it, though, too. Like,
Yeah,
you're a
I'm
pro
very
with
used to
audiobooks.
it. Yeah. I'm
I
very
can't
used to it.
do
I
it.
could do anything while I read an audiobook. Like, you kidding me? Come on. I'm
I think,
pro.
like, the crunchiest I will ever do, like, while reading is either pretzels or, like, chips and salsa because that's always been, like, my go-to snack.
Oh, chips and
I
salsa.
fucking love chips and salsa. So before I do my last one, because it's meant to be the last one, were there any you wanted to add? Any you thought of in this journey of Q&A?
I This has been really fun. Like, I was very nervous about it, but this has
I
actually been
told
really, really,
you, these
really
were
fun.
very easy, like, there were only like I said, I think there were only, like, 1 or 2 where you really had to think about it, but they were really fun, like, very
Yeah.
easy off the top, like, I could figure them out. They were cute. I liked them.
Here's my question, because we're moms, okay?
Oh boy. Okay.
What is your favorite kids book to read to your kids?
Okay. I have 2 because obviously I have 2 children, and they're at different reading levels and paying attention.
Sure.
So, right now, because of where my oldest is in his reading journey,
Mhm.
um, he loves going to the library at school, but he also we live close to the public library. He loves I don't even know who they're by, but there's this series of blank, blank, blank from the Black Lagoon. So it's like the new teacher from the Black Lagoon or the
Right,
substitute
right, yeah.
teacher, the gym teacher. So it's just like random teacher fill in position from the Black Lagoon. And he loves them because it starts off as like he hears all these whatever the student is, hears all these crazy stories of like, oh, the lunch lady, if you're bad, she turns you into the stew for the next day. And then like at the end of the book, you're like, wait, like the lunch lady is really, really nice. He loves those
Yeah.
books and I love reading them with him because like as you're reading it, it's like these insane rumor scenarios. And he's like he has so much fun with them. So I have so much fun with them. But that
Mhm.
series started when I was in elementary school. Now there's like 30 of them. But it's fun because I'm like, oh, I read, like, the first couple of these when they came out, so it's fun to read it with him.
Yeah.
For my youngest, it's The Little Blue Truck because it's just little cute little rhymes, and then the book, like, still has the flaps that move. My youngest doesn't super love to sit down or be still, but he does like the ones where it's very repetitive of being read, and I am the mom who I make voices for everything, of course. So,
Same.
The Little Blue Truck, because they have a bunch of holiday ones and theme ones, are really fun. So those are my favorite with him.
I love that. I
And
have 2 favorites
I
too.
had to retire Peter Rabbit. The book may or may not be
Oh,
hiding. I cannot
I
read that book again. We're tapped out on Peter Rabbit right now.
I loved when I was a kid, I loved The Velveteen Rabbit. That
Mhm.
was one of my favorites. And I loved reading that to my kids. However, I have more fun. The older ones, I really love reading Shel Silverstein books. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
the OG ones. Okay.
Like where the
I love
sidewalk ends?
yes, I
Yeah.
love The Giving Tree, but it's sad.
Oh, The
It's
Giving Tree is
so
so good.
sweet and so sad. So I like that one, but that's not the one I love. The ones I love are a Light in the Attic and Where the
Mhm.
Sidewalk Ends. Like those two, I think are probably my favorite. And I used to have the books. My mom got me the hardcover editions that had a. I'm aging myself a little bit. It had a CD of Shel Silverstein reading his poems, like
Mhm.
selections. And he did the funniest voices and inflections for them and like the rhythm. And so when I read them to my kids, I copy that.
Mhm.
Like I read it the way I remember listening to it. So I love reading those.
I can't wait for my kids to get just like a little bit older so I can share some of like the classics that I loved. Like I can't wait for the Berenstain Bears to be something that like they can get
Oh,
into.
yeah.
All the Dr. Seuss books that I have like
Mhm.
stashed away. So those I'm excited. Like the Dr. Seuss actually is something that my oldest loves because with his dyslexia, they're actually really good at helping him like
Mhm.
breaking out words because
Yeah.
of he for him it's like the B's, the D's, and the P's are they all get jumbled for him. So Dr. Seuss is actually a great book for him to start like helping with the dyslexia.
Yeah.
So I love listening to him read those. He doesn't want to read them with me because he's reading them.
Right.
But those are also one that I would say, but I can't wait to get to the Berenstain Bears because I loved them growing up.
I love that my kids are now reading more of the classics. My 10-year-old is more of an advanced reader. She's been reading a lot longer and she's been reading more advanced books for a lot longer. So she
Atta girl.
likes to read stuff that her older sister is reading in school,
Mhm.
like that level. So she wanted to read The Secret Garden when my other child was reading it, but I told her to wait because she'd be reading it in school that year. So instead, I pulled up A Little Princess, which is one of my favorites, and she loved that book so much. It's her favorite. It's the one that I rebound. Like
Mhm.
she loves that book. And I
Yes, then
like
we
reading
got yelled
stuff
at.
like that with her.
Yes, and then Mel and I got yelled at.
By her
I
too.
know. We
She's
got
like,
demoted as her internet
"Excuse you?"
aunties.
Yeah. No, she was like, "You're not allowed. I'm not calling you my auntie until you read
I
this
know.
book."
Listen, my DVR is too big for that, BB. I'm sorry.
It is short, please.
I don't have time.
The
Tell her
audiobook
that her
is
mother is
free.
stressing me out, so I don't have time.
It's a classic. The audiobook is free. All I'm hearing are lame excuses.
Mhm.
And she says the same thing. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As long as I read it before her other internet auntie, it's fine.
that's true.
I'll just do the one who reads it first, and I'll be the
Yeah.
favorite.
That's probably how it will go.
All right, so then I will end it on the last one. What are you currently reading?
I haven't started anything yet.
Are you buffering?
Unintentionally,
Well, yes,
under
because you
duress.
finished the.
I am buffering under duress.
What are you intending to be your current read? What are you
I
going to start either when we're done recording or in the morning?
So I'm not sure because I just finished A Thousand Boy Kisses and I really want, like, everything in me wants to just immediately go into A Thousand Broken Pieces. But because you and Mel have cautioned me so much against it, I'm very hesitant and
Mhm.
trying to like listen to my friends. Maybe they know, maybe they've got it. But I also am like, "Ugh, I just want to read it. And I have it. It's like right there. It's like, don't eat the candy, like it's right there. I want to eat it. Nobody's watching me. I might just do it. Like,
I just think that a buffer book in between might be helpful.
yeah,
Like, I
it's going to
get wanting to
be,
go back to back, but I'm glad that I did a couple of book well, we did more than a couple because we pushed it back, but I'm glad I had something in between the 2.
yeah, I really can't decide. I really want to go straight into A Thousand Broken Pieces, but I also have Scythe and Sparrow from Bryn Weaver, which I do really want to read.
Yeah, you do.
And it might be a good buffer in between the two, but I also tend to like a happy, fluffy, or funny after reading something sad. So I feel like it would be
Yeah.
more appropriate to read after A Thousand Broken Pieces, something that I
Mhm.
know is going to make me laugh out loud. I also have The Shadow of the Gods and the other two books in that series, which is, I've been told it's like Skyrim, the video game, which I was obsessed with Skyrim when it came out. One of my friends, my husband's best friend, he actually read it and he said that it was really, really good. So I have that one. I have all 3 books on my Libby now. It wasn't on my TBR for the month, but I think I might squeeze it in. Or possibly Wretched.
You should do Wretched, Thousand Broken Pieces, Scythe and Sparrow, and then do that trilogy.
Shadow of the Gods.
Like just
Feels right.
Yeah, just throw something in
Feels
between
right.
the 2 books. Sob, laugh, Skyrim.
Yeah. My husband was definitely petting me this morning when I finished a thousand boy kisses.
As he should. It's a heavy read.
Like he walked in and I was just sitting on the bed, like finishing crying.
That's a book that I 5-starred.
And then I started to tear more. Like he just pointed to his ears and goes, book. And I went, uh-huh. And he laid down and was like, come here.
Yeah,
started petting me.
the Thousand Boy Kisses and Thousand Broken Pieces, I 5-starred both. They are 5 stars I will never read again. It's the same with If He Had Been With Me and If Only I Had Told Her duology. 5-starred them, loved them. I'm never gonna reread them. So that's why my current read is The Savage Fae. I'm just going back into Zodiac Academy. I need something mindless to get into. Of some
trash TV, man.
I'm basically just
Yeah, no, I do that. We'll watch a
really
really hard horror, like psych thriller, and it will like screw with our heads. And then my husband and I are like, trash TV? Yep, trash TV. Okay.
It's basically like I just watched like 12 Years a Slave, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch The Jersey Shore. Like it's that kind of like polar opposite with each other.
Exactly.
I'm like,
yeah.
I am so mentally broken and heartbroken and upset. I need snook. Like I need to go from here to there. So I'm back in the Zodiac
Fair.
Academy world. So finish Wretched. And then you can go into it. So your current read's Wretched by Emily McIntyre?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Hey, so you're gonna read Wretched. I'm gonna read Savage Fae. All right, so that is our wrap on our cute little Q&A.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed the vibes. And thanks for all of the questions that y'all contributed to this
surprise Q&A for Rubik's. It was really
rogue mission that she went on. If you want to stay up to date with us, make sure you're following us on Instagram.
And if you want to watch us live, we stream on Twitch. We're covering the Empyrean series currently. But also, if you haven't read it, please do, because we love the contribution from our chat. And if you miss it, we do try to post the videos on YouTube later, so you can watch them there as well.
Till next time, you are awesome. You are doing great.
We love you. Now stop stalling and go read that book. Bye.
Bye.
Come and stay.